Live from the basement of Edwards Hall, it's Brockport Sports Talk with Michael Tammaro, Zach Harnishfaker, and your host, Jack McGilligan.
Hello and welcome back to Sports Talk. After a 2-week absence, we are back alongside Ian Wilde and Zach Harnishfaker. Michael Tammaro could not be here today due to prior obligations. We wish his mother a happy birthday. This weekend he's going to be out in Staten Island celebrating that. Not the Florida weather he was used to when he had money. But
took care of that real quick.
Took care of that, and we thank you for that, really. And we thank you for filling in again. You appear on the show more than Mike, really, at this point.
Yeah.
You fill in for him.
Great to have you here, Ian. Great to have you.
I feel like I'm the side character in the sitcom that they're going to have to force into the main cast whether he likes it or not, because he just appears so much.
Yeah. You will have to join full time whether you like it or not.
Yeah, basically.
You didn't know what you just signed earlier today. But first things first. Amazing sports event really happened these past couple weeks. The World Baseball Classic was just electric. Some of the best sports, the best baseball and really just sports that I've seen in a while. The whole tournament just felt electric in a way that MLB baseball doesn't. Sometimes even the World Series doesn't feel as tense as some of those games did. USA versus Japan was exactly the high octane game that Mexico versus Japan was, or even like USA versus Venezuela in that. But it was just so tense. And Mike Trout versus Ohtani
was
one of just the best sports moments in the past few years. And really, as somebody who's a baseball purist, somebody who really likes classic sport, how did you like this sort of different version of baseball?
I loved it. I love the World Baseball Classic. It's a lot of fun, like you said. Trey Turner really came through for the U.S. this year. We saw a couple of grand slams, a home run in the finals there to put them up 1-0. Man, it was a lot of fun to watch. Adam Wainwright, it's fun when you get a lot of guys who play against each other to come together and play for the country. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, the passion that USA, it's not as important as it is in other countries, in countries like Dominican Republic, Mexico, and Cuba. Or Japan, which it's going. Yes, they were incredible.
That atmosphere in Tokyo for when they were hosting during the pool. That's been added to my bucket list. Go see a baseball game in Japan. It's incredible.
And I don't think that we had the numbers on the finals yet, but the semifinals against Mexico was one of the most viewed sports games of all time. And this one's going to be one of those viewed just because everybody in Japan is tuning into it and being able to win that. They sent the best of their best. USA put in as close as you could get to their A-plus lineup. Pitching obviously didn't show up as much, different, but just the excitement level, everything was just so good. And it's just what I think baseball could be if some of the unwritten rules and that we're moving a place where more excitement's happening, the crowd atmosphere can get better, but you also just can't replicate something like that over a 162 game season.
Nope.
But just the passion that the players have in that,
Good news is that they just got renewed for 2026. The Classic's coming back. Looks like they want to do it every 3 years from now on.
Yeah.
I almost wish they do it every other year, more often, because
there's the point of
It's really good for the game.
I think 3 years is a good place to put it. 4 could feel a bit too long. 2 maybe it gets diminished. I don't think it really would be. And I think after this year you might. It's tough because with spring training, pitchers they're going to want to get warmed up and sort of ramp up at their own pace instead of just being that. So I understand why they're worrying a lot. But after this year, I feel like you're going to see more rather than less. After the Edwin Diaz injury, there's some calls. Luckily, there's some calls for the World Baseball Classic to either be canceled or moved or whatever. And now that the whole tournament played out and it was as amazing as it is, those calls have luckily died out a little bit. It was a bad injury, but just a freak thing that can happen to anybody when he's celebrating on the mound.
Common sense drowned out the Mets fan base.
Yeah.
That's the story of that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's good Mets fans. It was mostly just irrational people that, hot take right away, and luckily, moved on from it, and the players immediately defended it, the next day. And like I said, you asked, the players on those teams, Dominican Republic, if what they want more, World Series or the World Baseball Classic championship gold medal. They want the World Baseball Classic. Ohtani, probably you ask him, he says this is more important than the World Series. That's just how it is for players outside of the U.S.
And obviously for Diaz, it was a freak injury. But if you asked him, put a camera in his face, I don't think he'd really have any regrets.
No, not
one bit. I mean, sure, it sucks he'll miss most of the season
suck.
or the whole season, but I don't think he would have traded it for anything else, getting to play for his country after a huge win that they had.
Yeah, I mean, when you have an owner, Stephen Cohen, who could just throw money at whatever, get over it, Mets fans. You'll probably trade for a closer or pay whatever.
They got the money; they'll be
amount.
Fine.
And it doesn't matter.
Let's be honest. The Mets are going to met anyway. They're going to find a way to screw it up at the end of the season anyway. So.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, they until they don't, I will always believe that they will. Really.
Yeah, me too.
And with the World Baseball Classic, finding new fans and ways to engage fans, we move on to some NHL hockey, as we always have to. And really, the biggest news in the NHL world right now is anything that's going on the ice right now. It's that the Adidas deal for the NHL jerseys, they sponsor them, make them, and that has now been moved over to Fanatics. They have taken over a new contract that will be going live in, I believe, 2024.
Correct.
So and it will be a 10-year deal for Fanatics to start making jerseys. The on-ice jerseys will stay the same, they say, same factory and everything for NHL, but for consumers, they're taking over making the replica jerseys for fans and stuff like that. And a lot of fans are angry just because of the reputation Fanatics has for being that low quality, sort of higher priced marketplace for merch and things like that has taken over really a lot of the NFL, MLB, all the big sports around here, merch-wise, where they're pushing out a lot of stuff that just isn't quality as far as shirts, sweatshirts, everything goes.
All right.
It's rough.
I got some thoughts on this because I think it encapsulates a lot of what's wrong with the NHL right now. And since we just talked about the World Baseball Classic, let's use that as a comparison. This is something that got fans engaged in the game, more excitement. Like, I've never seen the country this high on baseball in a really long time for a sport that's honestly been going somewhat down in popularity in recent years. This is a big boost for them. Another sport going down in popularity, the NHL, what do they want to do? We're a niche sport. Let's get more niche. It makes no sense to me. I mean, obviously, I can't fault them too much for the whole Fanatics thing because it seems to me like no one else wanted it. Yeah. Nike was one that fans brought up a lot, was a potential contender. They said they wanted to move their brand away from hockey. I wonder why. When you see players refusing to wear Pride Night jerseys, take a wild guess why brands want to move away from the NHL. It's ridiculous. They're going in the opposite direction. They're responding to becoming a niche sport by trying to become more niche. It's ridiculous. Like, I get some sports, like NASCAR, for example, is a niche sport. But they want to appeal to their core audience. NASCAR had a brief window of popularity in the mid-2000s, but they're probably not getting back to that. That's fine. The NHL is very different than that. They can be a mainstream sport. The on-ice talent is maybe better than it's ever been in the 1 century history of it. And instead, where baseball is trying to open doors, open it up to the world, the NHL, if anything, seems to be closing it. They want to close it off to fans by making their jerseys cheaply produced and fall apart at the pull of a string or one round through a washing machine, and they want to make the LGBTQ community think they're not welcome. Sorry to rip off Zach's style there.
No, I'm the person to go on rants, but I like it, Ian. Good job.
Good job, Ian. Good job. I'm glad you got that off your chest.
As someone who obviously loves this sport, this year I feel like I've been less engaged than ever, and I think this is part of why.
Well, it's also because the Canadians are a god-awful hockey team.
That doesn't help, but at least we have hope. We're not the Flyers.
You're not the Flyers, that's true.
Go Rangers, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, they have been playing well recently, I'll give them that.
Yeah. The Sabres.
So
Yeah, the Sabres season has completely gone down to the toilet. The only math we're doing is 1+1 right now.
oh, I gotta tell you, for all you Sabres believers, all you Sabres believers, all the Sabres going to the playoffs. No, they're not. They're terrible. The goalie's bad. I mean, giving up 10 goals.
What's our
what are we
goalie's
doing?
name?
Luka Pikkalekkinen.
That's closer than I thought he was.
Yeah, he almost got it.
He was two
almost
syllables
got
off.
it. Yeah.
But realistically, for the Sabres, one thing, I don't want the Sabres fan base to write this season off as lost. As like a lost cause.
No.
I mean, obviously, yes, they're almost certainly not going to make the playoffs at this point,
Yes.
but oh my gosh. Third in the NHL in goals. This is the best third in the NHL in goals. Great young core developing. They just signed maybe their franchise goalie in Devin Levi out of college.
Yeah.
This team is on an upward trajectory like they haven't seen in years. This is the best season they've had in a decade. I think it's only going to get better from here, Sabres fans.
Yeah, it's really just
faith.
a myriad of things. We had Tuck out for a bit and Darlene as well. That really didn't help us a lot. And then get him back. Just defensive injuries, Samuelson, stuff like that, and hitting
He's
a wall.
underrated as hell.
Yes,
when
we are.
Samuelson's out, their defense
it's
really
also
falls apart.
it's also because he is an amazing defensive defenseman. Great
He's
in
one
our
of the best
zone.
in the league.
He's the best player in our D zone by far. And all the depth behind him is barely NHL quality outside out of Power and Darlene.
And people
so
think Samuelson's overpaid. It's ridiculous.
Well,
and obviously he has they say, he hasn't scored a goal at the time of the contract. Look at his defensive stats. It proves it. When the Sabres, and he's healthy, the Sabres defensively, it's night and day.
Yeah, no, our record with and without is crazy. I can't remember right here. I'll put up a picture. It is insane, but it's just a myriad of things. A young team hitting the wall and things like that. And but yeah, like you're right. This is a team that is going to improve. I think it does give some perspective, as like some people are thinking, we don't make it this year, playoffs will be a slam dunk next year because we got to improve. No, you got to revamp that decor. You got to be able to
rest on your laurels.
You got well, I mean, yes, but it's also just you have to make moves. I don't blame them for not making trade deadline moves. You got to be able to up the decor, though, now that you have money and you're not going to give up any assets, just money, and you got the cap space because you got Tage, you got Dylan Cousins on amazing deals, and you're going to have Okposo coming off the books is huge, really.
I'm almost certain he's going to re-sign in Buffalo,
Yes.
but it'll be the much cheaper cap.
He's at about $6 million, I think, right now.
Yeah.
On the last year of his deal, that has really held us back a lot. His image has improved tenfold in my mind just because of how good of a guy he is in depth forward. Just we gave him a bad contract, but it was rough at the start of it after that first year.
It was really rough, and I thought it was a good signing when it happened, but it just never worked out. But he's found a real role in this lineup as a depth player and as a leader. So.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's good that he's not going to be paid as much, but it's still very much in the Sabres' interest to bring him back.
It certainly is, and it's in the interest of the NHL to not do this Fanatics deal, but they did do it. And as I've said before, Fanatics, they make a lot of cheap merchandise. I have a shirt from Majestic, a shirt jersey, a Derek Jeter one that I bought in the last year when he was on a retirement tour. My dad got me. That shirt still looks about perfect. The logos or anything are peeling or cracking or anything. And I have several Fanatics shirts that I've never bought myself, but I have had gifted to me from family and things of that nature. All of them, 2, 3, 4 washes are just not wearable really outside because it's just cracking. It starts.
It's happened with my shirt. I have a hat shirt that's to a lesser extent that's happened.
Yeah, and they handle the NFL. They handle some of the NFL's like lower price jerseys that are like cheaply made as well, where you wash them a bit. Some months the numbers are gonna start peeling off, stuff like that. It's just not good. It's indicative of the NHL being it doesn't think about their growth. They go for a quick buck, and they go for what makes them money. Because certainly, I imagine Fanatics, they're with the markups at prices and how they make stuff, it's going to be cheaper.
It's like what makes me so mad about is going for that quick buck when they have the talent to produce something like the World Baseball Classic. Like you showed me earlier a quote from Connor McDavid about that final last night. Why can't hockey have something like that? When are we going to get a best on best hockey tournament?
I mean, as I said before, 2010. Olympics hockey, Canada versus USA, people still talk about that game to this day being so amazing. That was really the last time the Olympics had. That's the last time you had 2014, but
TJ Sochi, that was a great moment.
Yes, it was a great moment, but that's, since then, people still have to talk about that because there's been nothing since then because they tried the World Hockey Cup, which was just a weird.
It was fine.
It was fun, but it was they had the under 22 team and like different. It wasn't.
Don't diss Team North America.
I won't. I mean, I could. I don't. It was a fun time, but it was not anywhere close to where they wanted it to be as far as Denver being a replacement. Nope. I mean, they could do something like World Baseball Classic. Hockey do so much to grow. Like we said, like baseball gets a lot of flack, and they should, because they don't market their stars. And then they have the World Baseball Classic where they have Ohtani and Trout, 2 stars in the final at bat, an iconic moment in time.
They nailed it.
And you have Connor McDavid making that statement. Zach probably barely even knows who he is, and he's the most talented hockey player since Gretzky. He's like shattering his personal. He's gonna have the best season of his career this year.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna talk about it, and he makes the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
The Oilers have had their struggles, but they made a good amount of playoffs in the last 5 years. They've been a team that is in conversation for a cup, and they don't know them. It's just NHL has a lot of problems. A league that doesn't really have those problems is the NFL.
They're vibing
here
right
and talk
now.
about some free agency,
Lord.
but there are some problems in the NFL. It's weird. The free agency, has taken over a lot of signings, a lot of rumors. DeAndre Hopkins might go to the Bills. That's for some reason happening right now. But the biggest news, I mean, it was about over a week ago they appeared on the Pat McAfee show, and it was already felt like it already felt like the saga was taking forever with the Aaron Rodgers trade to the Jets.
Gosh.
Still hasn't happened. The Jets just made a trade, giving away a wide receiver. They get Lazard and
Nicole Hardman.
Nicole Hardman. They traded with the Browns.
Great signing.
I mean, if you get Aaron Rodgers, it's a great sign. But of course, if he ends up not coming there and they get like stuff on his wish list, like what are they doing at that point? Like Rodgers has them held hostage.
Yeah.
I mean,
players shouldn't have that much power.
No, shouldn't. But hey,
I mean,
if you're the Jets, you should sign Aaron Rodgers. If you're the Jets, you should.
For the Jets, it's are you willing to play the game with Aaron Rodgers, or do you pay exorbitant contract to Derek Carr or Garoppolo, which they might not even be able to compete, especially with the contract that Garoppolo got with the Raiders. Yeah, thanks, Zach. And Derek Carr with the Saints. I mean, I don't blame them for wanting to play a game with Rodgers to try and hit home run and try and revitalize Rodgers. I mean, I'm not going to say I won't be scared as a Bills fan of Rodgers with the Jets, but it feels like a case of, in the NFL, when you have a team that's good one year and you need to fill a hole, you're just like assume, we fill that hole and then we're just automatically going to be a better team. That's not how it works. Denver, I couldn't have predicted how Denver ended up going, but I was someone who I didn't think they were even a slam dunk for a playoff team when that happened.
No one saw them being that bad.
Nobody saw them being that bad. Nobody saw Russell being that bad. But as it happened, I was just like, it's mostly because Patrick Mahomes. But still,
nobody saw Matt Ryan being that bad either.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers, I don't think is going to do something as bad as Russell Wilson. He's always been a better QB. Russell Wilson is not Aaron Rodgers. Ever in his career, he's never been Aaron Rodgers.
Don't forget, he's going to have a pretty consistent run game with Breece Hall coming back.
Yeah,
and
it's going to be.
Defense too.
Yes, they do.
But again, defense is one of the things that's volatile in the NFL, and year to year, and that is going to be tough, and it's good, and it's going to be interesting to see if that happens. But with our luck, by the time this is posted up recording Thursday, it could already have happened, and that would be really funny.
We might be about to go on our phones and see the notification, for all we know.
For all we know. And for Zach, the Colts are hitting a lot of home runs, huh?
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew, baby, let's get it. Gardner Minshew.
Back in the division.
What QB do you think the Colts are? We want to get some draft ballots about a month away.
Two.
That's not a QB. That's not a quarterback.
He's not even that good of a wide receiver.
He got cut from the Buffalo Bills, who need wide receivers desperately. That tells you everything.
He's a body to fill their roster because it's a rebuild.
Yeah. All right. Well, now we made Zach sad. Zach, we're sorry. We're sorry your team.
I just wish we'd make more moves. A little bit. We gotta.
Why do you want to make moves though? Don't you? You don't
want a good quarterback.
you realize where you're drafting?
Yes.
Your guys are in perfect position.
C.J. Stroud, baby. Give him to us.
All
I want
right.
Stroud.
Well,
That
wait,
would be a good
I
fit.
want Stroud.
It'd be a good
I don't
fit.
want
but
Levis. I
Stroud
don't
gonna
want
get to you?
whoever it is.
Is
Young.
he? Is
I
it
don't
going to
want
fall though? Is
I
he
don't
going
think
to
he's
fall?
gonna
that far?
fall.
I don't know. I don't think he's going to be number 1 overall. I'll tell you that.
But number 2, I think it's going to be Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. I don't know what order, but I think the Panthers and Texans are going to get those 2.
I just don't want Will
Cardinals
Levis.
won't take
I don't want him. I think we probably will land him, but I don't want him.
He's a kind of raw.
Yeah.
He's sort of like a Josh Allen type
I want to
prospect.
see him develop. I agree with you in that even if I think that he's going to be successful or some type of success, I mean it's easy to say when you have a quarterback, but it's just not something I would want to happen on my team just because it's such a big risk. But when you see the measurables and stuff that he has in the combine, which you don't need the combine to see his measurables, just watch his tape. You see
That's way more valuable than the combine.
you see the electric stuff that he has, but you also see the flaws. And I mean, but you get Gardner Minshew, and then you have him sit for a season or however long he needs to get everything. It can be interesting.
Minshew's a perfectly fine stopgap quarterback.
Yeah, he can win us some games.
The top of the draft, it's going to be interesting because the quarterbacks have not been hailed to be franchise saviors, but you see that there's just this handful of quarterbacks that like you get something on, it could be franchise. There's going to be a lot
Bryce
taken.
Young and C.J. Stroud could be in the right situation.
I agree. I think Bryce Young is probably there's a reason he's on the top of the boards right now. I think C.J. Stroud. There could be some good situations. I like what the Panthers did because they just got to rebuild in the Bears.
Yeah.
I think they did great. They paid Tremaine Edmonds probably too much money, but at the same time they could probably burn as much money as they need right now. But
they still have like tens of millions of cap space even with all the moves they made. Like that trade for first overall. I'll look at it this way: it's a very good deal for the Panthers.
Yeah.
But it's an even better deal for the Bears.
They get more.
Splash in free agency, and they're able to use all those draft picks to fill other positions. I've seen some people, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I've seen a ton of people like at sports books betting on the Bears as like a very like long odds Super Bowl team. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would not be shocked if they were in the playoff conversation come December.
I really like the Bears situation if everything pans out with Justin Fields. I mean, just seeing him, it's just like part of me is just like I just want to see him succeed.
He looks like year 2 Jalen Hurts and what happened year 3.
Oh well, I wouldn't say he. I wouldn't say he was. I wouldn't say he was that on Jalen Hurts level. I think he could be. I think he could take the step to get around that level next year. I think he could develop it faster. It's just you get more. And then now you're building on like offensive line, defensive. I don't think Tremaine Edmonds is a do-it-all number 1 middle linebacker, but he's not at least definitely not on the level that they paid him. But he's better than a lot of other options that you probably had out there. So I understand it. The Bears, I agree. They're building something pretty interesting, and it's going to be. We're going to see how this draft plays out, and if Aaron Rodgers ends up anywhere, maybe he just ends up walking off into a mountain somewhere.
Yeah, my bet is he's going to show up at a Tibetan monastery.
I mean, he was already in that darkness retreat or whatever, and he came out the box and was like, "I want to be a New York Jet." So who knows, what he's doing in that box, and who knows, what he's consuming. Because it could be hallucinogenics.
All I gotta say is I'm looking forward to a season without Tom Brady. That's all I gotta say.
He's still coming back. I don't believe it.
I think we've survived.
I don't believe it. Brady,
He's not coming back.
Brady,
come back by
Brady.
now.
I need a username in the titles again. We need to get some views. So please actually
boost the views.
Don't come back.
Come back.
Don't come back.
Come back.
Don't listen to him. Don't come back.
No, come back because I already know you are. So I feel not threatened at all to say that you're going to come back. You're going to go to Miami or something.
I was going to say he's going to sound like the Dolphins knowing how.
Rodgers and Brady in the same division. Oh my goodness.
And Josh Allen.
And Josh Allen. Oh wow, that would be a great.
I don't think it's going to happen.
It's not going to happen because Brady's staying retired.
Even Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen together, I think that's good enough.
Yeah,
That'll be 2 must-watch.
I would watch that buddy cop drama. And I hope that you all enjoyed watching Sports Talk this week. It's been fun getting back here. Ian, thank you for filling in
Yes, thank
again
you, Ian.
here.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Good job, Zach. You didn't mess up as much as you usually do,
Wow.
so I really appreciate you.
I never mess up.
And again, I appreciate everybody watching. For Ian Wilde and Zach Karnschfager, that'll do it for us this week on Sports Talk. We'll see you next time.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.